What's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. What has this year been doing to us? I've just done my previous tribute video more than a few weeks ago, and it's happening once again. It's like they just keep coming and coming and coming. It just feels incredibly shocking that obviously things like this won't be turned back in time. We've lost a bass player who I've considered to be one of my all-time favourites. And I personally mean that because I was growing my obsession with this band, and I cited this band to be one of my all-time favourites when I really got into the addiction of their music and the whole art that was so influential and still important for the Manchester alternative indie rock Britpop scenes. We've lost a bass player who's known as Manny. Manny from the Stone Roses. He passed away today at the age of 63. I knew that I was in complete shock immediately when I found out about this one. I was shocked about Sam Rivers from Limp Bizkit. I was emotionally heartbroken about Brian Wilson and obviously Ozzy Osbourne. But 2025, this is the worst year for the news on musicians in this way in such a very, very long time. As soon as I found out, I had to look it up. I was like, just no words. It came out and the shouted words were, "What the fuck?" I was having a good day. I was playing my guitar, practicing. Then I was listening to some Catherine Wheel on their album Adam and Eve. And I was scrolling online on my mobile for social media, just for curiosity, and then the news just happened. The Stone Roses are one of my favourite bands of all time. And it's not just because of them being just a Manchester band. I love the Stone Roses because of their sound and style that had made a huge important impact for rock music popularity. It's not just because of Ian Brown or John Squire, because Manny was so deserving as an important member in the band's history. Well, the classic lineup, Rennie, brilliant, unique drummer, but Manny with his bass lines, they have been some of the most iconic and treasured sounds of bass work. As soon as you hear his bass on some of these Stone Roses songs, you know what song it is. This absolutely sucks. I haven't played the Stone Roses in a long time, so I want to pause my pleasurable experience of Catherine Wheel's music so that I want to play the Stone Roses music. I've tried to find my remastered vinyl pressing of the debut, but I was in quite a panic that I just thought, fuck this, I'll just grab my CDs. The Stone Roses debut album, one of my all-time favourites. Manny starts the album with I Want to Be Adored, which is my favourite Stone Roses song of all time, and the song is one of my top 10 favourite songs. There's a lot of beauty on his bass playing on here, It's full of energy, full of fun, and his playing style is still inspiring. The bass lines on Waterfall to I Am the Resurrection, even on Shoot You Down, She Bangs the Drums, Made of Stone. It's a remarkable piece of music. Even if you don't care about Manchester bands, you should at least just respect bands like these guys. The Stone Roses debut was an album that was so addictive for me. When I eventually got it to understand what made the band sound so good, it's not just because of the songs. The musicianship was one of the best things about it. Besides Rennie, Manny's bass lines on this album and loads of the other later ones have been so iconic and remarkable. I have the Turns into Stone, compilation, and this is excellent. A compilation of songs from the earlier sounds of the band. And then we hear another wonderful bass line that's on a loose, jamming psychedelic feel on Fool's Gold, the nearly 10-minute classic. One Love, I've just played that song as well as Something's Burning last week, and it was just full of a strong vibe. The connection is so good. It's really jam-packed with wah-wahs to great rhythm and the simple melody. Manny's bass lines on these two songs made them sound huge. Brilliant compilation. Their final album, Second Coming, which I found on my remastered vinyl. This is a remaster that sounds excellent, and I see this album to be the most underrated album by any band. Besides that, Second Coming is like the blues rock sounding album because John Squire was inspired by Led Zeppelin. That's so heavily pronounced. Manny's bass lines on some of these songs are just as great. They're just as great. Some of the most underrated songs from any rock band are on this album. I am a fan and defender of this. Obviously, the Stone Roses debut is my favourite, but there's a lot to enjoy. Obviously, when this album came out, the Stone Roses were at a very rough patch through management and obviously the change of sound on here. The rise of the popular stardom of Ocean Colour Scene to Oasis. They were becoming one of the biggest bands in the country. Well, Ocean Colour Scene finally made it to be successful, whereas Oasis became such a monster band in British history. But the Stone Roses, through their art and impact, it's still a treasuring moment in time to have a blast, to be a fan of the music. I have the digipack of their greatest hits, the very best of the Stone Roses. I decided to buy this. I don't really collect a lot of compilations, but since that I'm a big fan of the band, I thought, why not? And I have got the box set of the Stone Roses compact disc singles collection from the defunct record label of Silvertone Records, which does have Elephant Stone, Made of Stone, She Bangs the Drums, Fool's Gold, One Love, I Want to Be Adored, Waterfall, and So Young and Tell Me. This is a really neat box set. I always give a lot of the admiration for the guitar work, to the vocal melodies and harmonies, the songs, but the Stone Roses, now that they've lost Manny today, I wonder how they are feeling right now, especially Aziz Ibrahim, who I've met, who played with Manny after John Squire left the Stone Roses in the mid-90s. And, you know, these songs are just some of the best for late 80s to early 90s. If you guys have not listened to Second Coming, it's very bluesy. It's nothing like the debut album at all. And obviously it is different than what the Stone Roses tried to accomplish before they made the debut album. But do not miss out on some of the later work of this band's music. I should have been a fan of the Stone Roses before the pandemic happened, because obviously they reunited at the time from 2011 to 2017. If I was getting into the Stone Roses earlier on, I would have thought about having a chance to go and see them. I did see Ian Brown live as he went through his now controversial talk about backing tracks performances. But this report about one of my favourite bass players, Manny, which is a great nickname, I wonder what the rest of the band are going to think about. Tributes will be shared, but I just have nothing else to say other than that Manny was a gifted and passionate bass player. I haven't listened to the Stone Roses for such a long time, so I will be playing the debut album in honour of him. Sorry that I've raised my voice more than enough already, but this just blows. This one absolutely sucks. Now it's reached the point where I just want to say this right now. I want to think about saying this. At this point, I could have said it when we've lost Sam Rivers of Limp Bizkit, that we need to look out for each other. We need to look out and to take care, share the respect, and to look out for ourselves and for the people who you love, because these times have been changing as we've been experiencing some of the worst moments. This decade has been brutal, manic, and just, straight up insanity. My heart goes out to his friends, his family, and the fans of the band. The Stone Roses, one of, in my opinion, the greatest rock bands of all time. And Manny was a big, special influence for the band's history. Thank you guys for watching, and I will keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.